YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time. My name is Kristen LeBray. I'm here to motivate the day, and today we're at another episode of my Uncovered series. And today I have my friend Calvin Dash, and Calvin has been a supporter literally since day one. We met in college, Winthrop University, the ghetto, honestly.
The biggest ghetto to ever ghetto.
Okay, yeah. The biggest ever. But my guy Calvin, you've been through life, like even post-college and college, and today I've seen like so much growth within you, and I feel like both of us are really living in our purpose right now.
Yeah. And
I really just want to talk about it because, child,
it's a journey.
It's a journey.
It is a time.
It's a time, truly. But before we get into it, if you're new to this series, I always start with a game. We're not really strangers, and Calvin and I, we're not strangers at all. But, you know, we gotta play the game. So there are different levels to the game. So there are 3 different levels. There's reflection, connection, and I forget the last one. But we're gonna do the first level. And I want you to choose a card, and then I want to choose a card, and then
I'm choosing a red one or a white one.
It don't matter. You just choose whatever. And then I'm gonna choose one. If you don't like it, we'll keep it pushing.
No, it's good.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. And then we're both gonna answer the question that's on there. So you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So mine says, if MySpace were still a thing,
Ooh.
What would my profile song be? First of all, I'm 23. I ain't never had no MySpace.
Okay. Oh, okay. So first of all, I'm 25, and I didn't have no MySpace. Okay, the first one I had was Facebook.
Period.
And
what embarrassing picture's still up there.
Oh, very much so. And I need to delete those because, yeah. Oh my goodness, what would your song be? So what was the first song that popped in my head? A gospel song, of course, because if you know Calvin, you know Calvin. Okay. And the first thing, Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It, was the first.
I'm weak.
That is the first song that popped in my head, so I'm gonna go with it. Okay, I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
Never Would Have Made It. Because, you know, we started from the bottom. We started somewhere, but seeing where we're at today is exciting. There's been a lot of growth, a lot of evolution. So yeah, that's it.
I gotta pull out my phone. Mine was not gonna be gospel at all.
Ooh, is that a testament to? No, it's fine. No, it don't have to be gospel though. It just, that was literally the first song popped in my mind.
So this is the thing, and I don't even know if this was like, this probably wasn't like it around the time of MySpace. Okay. But when I was younger, and I blame my sisters for this, I was a barb. I was a barb when I was younger.
Okay,
Nikki was that nigga.
Yeah. Yeah. That nigga. You said what you said.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I'd probably say like Roman's Revenge. Oh. That was my vibe.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now I calm down. I like a little Adele. Yeah. You know, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Something slight. Not bad at that. Okay. Okay. Oh, we were supposed to be answering for ourselves. Yeah, okay. Because I definitely just answered for you.
Oh, I thought that was your answer for yourself.
No, I was answering for you.
You just call me Marvin.
I definitely was answering for you. Oh my gosh. Reeling back in for myself. It has to be Chris Brown, because if you know me, you know I like Chris. Jesus. Okay, so I made this song, my mom's ringtone. Don't know why, she had just got the phone, and I was like, girl, like wall to wall needs to be your ringtone. I was playing around with the phone.
Wall to wall.
Yeah, so that would definitely be
that's a throwback.
Okay, Chris did what he needed to do on that one.
I will say he did his bag a little bit.
Okay, a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, not bad at it, not bad at it. Okay, my turn. Ooh. This should be a funny answer. Okay, so the question is, how likely am I to go camping, question mark, and then how high maintenance is my setup? you're answering for me, and then I'll answer for you.
I'm answering for you?
Yes. So, knowing what you know about me, how likely do you think I am to go camping? Do you think I've ever been camping? Let me just add that in there, even though it's not in there, but to give you a little context. And then how high maintenance is my setup?
I would say, knowing you, number one, you've not been camping.
No.
You're from Ohio. You've not been camping.
Don't do me.
Likelihood, I would say, I don't know, you give a little bit of an adventurous vibe these days. I say like from 0 being least likely to 10 being most likely.
Okay, where we at?
Probably like a 4.
Okay, that's fair.
But it would be very high maintenance.
Yeah, oh,
very.
for sure. Yeah, no.
Tent gotta have 2 stories.
Most definitely. Never seen it, but most definitely need one of those. And I just feel like, as soon as I see a bug, well, if it's close to my pillow or something, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
No. Okay, I'm going home. Okay, so for you, how likely are you to go camping? And how high maintenance? So I feel like you would definitely be very high maintenance with the setup. Like, we not playing around. I don't want no animals. I don't want no creepy crawlers. I don't want no bears. None of the above, okay? So I feel like we're pretty high maintenance with the setup. How likely are you to go camping? 0. I'm gonna do the same scale that you gave me. So 0, there's no way. And then 10, oh yeah, I'm out there with the bears. We're giving like 6.
Wrong. 0. I'm not going camping.
No, just not at all. I'm packing up. Actually, it was never packed.
The thought never processed completely.
Oh, never.
I'm not giving it a chance. Because my thing is, I'm from the country.
Yeah.
I enjoy nature, but I'm not going to sleep in it. At the end of the day, after I'm done, you know, messing with the squirrels and seeing the snakes and stuff, I'm going in the house. I'm sleeping in the air conditioning.
Oh, for sure. Air conditioning, yeah. Okay, I knew high maintenance. I just knew we were never going to do. Got it. Say less.
Never. Absolutely not.
Say
you
less.
Do not have to worry about me.
You are a best Calvin. So, how you doing, friend? Like, the last time that Calvin and I really sat down and talked, we went to this restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name because they don't even, at this point, they don't need no. It wasn't even that good.
Garbage.
Yeah, it was not giving. But that was like over a year for sure. Oh.
That was the beginning of this year. That was in March.
Really? In March? Are you sure?
I'm telling you, and I vividly remember because
you say you got sick.
Because I got sick and I had taken that day off work.
I do remember you had taken that day off when we went out to. Okay. Still, that was too long ago. It was
5 months.
Yeah, what's going on? Like, how are you for real? Like, you know how people are like, how are you? And it's just a conversation started. Like, how are you actually doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. According to social media, you're doing great.
I'm living the dream.
It's
a great time.
Honestly, like the motivation, yeah. But I'm letting you, yeah.
I've really been enjoying just like my alone time lately. Not necessarily being a loner, but learning how to like deal with myself by myself.
Yeah.
I recently realized, probably in the last like couple months, that like I never really spent time by myself because I was kind of scared to deal with myself, so I would spend most of my time like being around other people, so I wouldn't have to deal with like internal stuff. So now I'm just like, I live by myself. It's just me and my dog.
Yes. You got the dog. Okay. Keep going.
So,
yes.
Just vibing out by myself.
I love that. That's good. I think that's like, I know you've been out of college for a little bit now, but like, I know for myself personally, born and raised, I have a sister, but we didn't live together. So I was really like raised as an only child, so I was used to being by myself growing up. But then getting in college, getting involved, being around friends, I realized I love community. So then like graduating, I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't have the luxury to just knock on my friend's door and be able to go to your room. Like I really have to get comfortable sitting and being by myself. So like that, I guess the question I have for you is like, how did you come to the realization of, okay, I also need to, I love being with people. I'm thinking about you. You dealing. I like being with people. Yeah. But like, I also really need to learn to just sit with Calvin and be content with that? Like, where did that transition start?
So the crazy thing is, Gabby passed away in 2021.
Yep.
So after Gabby passed away, I was pretty much going back and forth from Rock Hill going home, which is like an 1.5-hour ride, every weekend. So one weekend I went to my sister and my brother-in-law's house, and I was like hanging out at their house, and we were talking about something, I don't remember what happened, but one of them essentially made the joke that like I was coming over too often. And so when they said that, I was like, okay, like maybe I am coming over too often. So I left. Yeah. And so when I left, I literally like got down the road, and when I got down the road, I started crying. Yeah. Like I just like busted out crying. So I went back to the house, and I got back in the house, I was boo-hoo crying for like 20 minutes. And like as I was like in that moment and like dealing with those emotions, I was like, I really feel like misplaced, because I've spent a lot of time like around people and dealing with people, but I've never found myself in a space where I feel like with all the people and all the community I had that I 100% like fit in somewhere. Yeah. And I feel like partially it was because like depending on what group of people I was dealing with, I had a different vibe, and basically I was like conforming to the space that I was in. So from that moment I really realized like, okay, like I need to spend some time with myself. One, so I can get to know myself so I won't feel displaced at all times. But also just to learn how to deal with me, deal with my emotions, deal with like all the stuff that I had going on.
For sure, that's real. That's to like come to the realization of like, dang, am I content just sitting in who I am by myself? But then even also the self-awareness to know when I'm in different spaces, like, okay, I can conform to these people, or like, okay, so like for myself, it's been the same thing for me. So like born and raised in the church, so like everybody knows when you get in a church, you know how to act in church, especially if you're born and raised. But then like you go to college and you're around just so many different kinds of people, and you're seeing, okay, they act like this, so like maybe I just need to start acting like this around these people, or like maybe I'm around them. So like for you to really be able to admit that, that's real, because a lot of people like they don't have the self-awareness to realize, okay,
But I also like I had an experience like, because in school I would be around pretty much everybody, but there was still like certain stuff that I was just like, I'll leave that to y'all. Yeah. So matter of fact, homecoming 2021, they had like this party at like the American Legion, and it was like a 2-in-1 party or whatever. So there was like a party in one room, a party in another room, and I went. I've never been so uncomfortable in my life. I was like,
that doesn't even sound like,
because like I'm naturally very tense. Yeah. And like when you're going to like a party and stuff, there's like a certain looseness that has to be about you. Sure. It's not me. No. I could not do it. I was in there and I was just standing there. I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah. Y'all doing a lot.
So I left and I went home.
As you should.
Because and that really made me realize like, I'm trying to be in the same spaces as other people and act the same way that other people are, but it's just not me. And that doesn't really like, that's not me saying like they shouldn't act that way, because everybody does what they do. They enjoy their actions and stuff like that. But I had to realize like, I can be cool with these people, but it's not me. So
that's real. And it's funny because I was, before I don't even want to consider like my Uncovered series as like interviewing people. It's more so just having conversations and things that we're not really talking about as young people. But before I sit down with anybody, like I always want to make sure, like, obviously I know you, but I still want to do my research. So like I'll look on your pages and stuff. But I think it was on your Facebook. No, it's on your Instagram. I'm so mad I don't have my phone right now. But in your bio, it says something along the lines of like the lightness and the darkness, but like how you are the light.
I am the light that darkness can't comprehend.
Yes, and it's crazy because as you're talking, the only thing that I could think about was like, that's just not a space that you're supposed to be in. And like, especially shifting the conversation as Christians, like we're supposed to be in the world but not of the world. Yeah. And like you saying that, I'm like, okay, see, like that space just doesn't fit for you. And I guess to even shift the conversation more, I want to talk about walking in our purpose today. And we talked a little bit before, like on camera, but how do you feel like, especially going from being in college, then being like, you know what, this is not for me right now. Like, I can't do this, and that's okay. Yeah. Now the story is changing. Seeing where you're at today, do you feel like you're walking in your purpose? And if so, regardless where you're at in life right now, how do you feel like you've kind of navigated into this space that you're currently in? Very loaded question.
It's funny that, so the way you shifted the like transition,
yeah,
it was funny because that part, like in my bio, it is on my Facebook. I actually just put it on my Instagram. But that's like, it's actually a scripture. Yeah. And I can't remember like what scripture it actually is, but like it's basically saying that like the light shines in darkness and the darkness can't consume it and stuff like that. And so it kind of like made sense to me because, you know, like I deal with people, but like I have my moves where like honestly I will talk to a brick wall if it'll sit still. Like that's just who I am. So I've had conversations with all types of people. I've been at all types of spaces, but like a lot of the spaces that I found myself in, I don't want to characterize them as dark, but they just weren't me, and they didn't like align with who I am. And so I found myself, like, the reason that scripture like resonated with me so much is because even in those spaces, like I couldn't help but be who I was. Yeah. Like it can get easy sometimes for some people to like conform to like the different spaces and do certain things, like, but like in those spaces I could not help but to be myself. Right. And so I feel like that's kind of like a part of finding your purpose, or like having a revelation of your purpose. Is like even when you find yourself in uncomfortable or unfamiliar spaces, you can't help but to be the person that you know you're supposed to be. Like when I was at that party, like I'm not saying that I was like being churchy and doing all types of stuff, but I was keenly aware of the fact that like this isn't my type of environment. Exactly. Yeah. And so that's like the biggest thing, which that's purpose is really like a really loaded thing. But you kind of get that awareness that like you kind of get an awareness that something isn't a part of your purpose before you realize what actually is a part of your purpose.
No, I completely agree with that, because like even it makes me think to the question, like when you're in school, how people will ask you like, okay, what do you want to do after you graduate, where do you see yourself? And it's like most times you ask people that, especially at a young age, we don't know. We're figuring out every single day. I woke up today and I was like, okay, this is on the list. There's nothing else that I need to like, I didn't have a revelation that this is exactly what I'm supposed to do. But I feel like when you figure out, okay, I don't like this, that weases out a lot of things for you. And then you're like, okay, well, I don't like this, but I do like this. So like for me, I feel like I'm really walking in my purpose, because for a long time, like I felt like I needed to have a niche on these social media platforms. And I was like, okay, I don't do hair, I'm not an esthetician, like I don't care about none of that. I don't have the patience for it. But I know that I love being in front of the camera, and I know that I love to motivate or just help people in any way that I can. And I've always been told like, you're so happy, but like why are you so happy? And like that question always boggled me, because I'm like, what do you mean, like why am I so happy?
Why aren't you so happy?
Exactly, like why are you mad? Right.
What's the problem?
Exactly, because something's wrong with you. Look at yourself, look in the mirror.
You're the
anywho, exactly. But I've always loved like cameras and stuff. So then like I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what I necessarily want to do, but I know I'm not doing all these other niches. That's not it for me. But I love being in front of the camera. I love cameras. I love editing. Okay, maybe this is my purpose. So then like slowly diving deeper into that, and even just getting closer to God and realizing like, who does he say that I am at the end of the day? And then when you really start to realize that, I don't know, you just start to tap into like a whole nother level of just like self-awareness. And it's just so beautiful, like just being aligned with God in that sense.
And like when you're not aligned, one thing that I've like really realized is like when you're not aligned to it, but you kind of have an understanding of it, God will literally send like things into your path that to remind you that like this isn't where you're supposed to be. Like I was at some type of event one day, and I literally had a cup in my hand. Like I was drinking at the event, and I think I'm not gonna say who it was, but I think she was joking when she said it. But literally, I was at the event, I had a cup in my hand, and somebody like walked up to me, and I was like, hey, like, how are you? And she basically just like unloaded on me like what she had going on, and she asked me like, she was like, will you pray for me?
Wow, yeah. We had this event in the year.
Girl, I got tequila in my hand right now. You want prayer? like, let's be for real. Yeah. I have a red Solo cup of tequila in my hand right now. You want me to pray for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does.
And that was God like, look at you out here where you ain't supposed to be doing stuff you ain't got no business. And I was like, yeah, I get it. Okay,
but it's funny how like people see that on you, even like when you don't see it in yourself, or just how like you're in these spaces and you're like, okay, like I feel like this is okay, this is fine. But then like you have that reminder, this girl's coming up asking for prayer, unloading, and you're like, like, all right, let's
let's sit this down for a second.
Exactly. Let's sit down.
And I didn't pray for her either because, girl, I've been drinking tequila. God don't want to hear what I got to say right now.
Because I'm gonna be rolling off the deck. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, that's real. That's funny though. But like, it's so real to just how people can see that before you can even see it on yourself. Like, talk to me about this preaching you've been doing, because anytime I see you post on social media, like, it's always something uplifting my spirit, whether it's just like something motivational, a scripture. But I'm like, okay, I need more of these. Like, choose joy, okay? You've been choosing joy, and I love to see it. Like, seriously, but how, like, because I know for myself, showing up every single day is hard. It's very hard. And like, it's funny because people will see what you're doing on social media and they'll be like, oh my gosh, like your life looks so amazing, or you look like you're just doing all these wonderful things. Like, how do I get that? And I just be like, right. Listen, you don't know what I look like when I posted that. You don't know all the tears that I have because I didn't have the amount of views. Like, it's hard. It's ghetto. It's ghetto. But how are you showing up every single day? Because when I see you on social media, everything does look great. Like, it looks dandy. So like, how are you navigating that?
I feel like the biggest thing to like being in a, I guess you would say, a healthy space of purpose, is realizing that like you don't necessarily have to show up every day. Like, my thing is like with what I post on social media and stuff like that, like the stuff that I post, I don't have that in my head every day. That's not like, I don't have it in me to like pour or like release like my purpose to other people every day. So it's like the bigger part of it than like for you like being in this camera and like recording these videos and stuff like that, the bigger part of recording these videos and posting your stuff on YouTube or like social media and stuff like that is the simple fact that like you don't have this every day, but you should have something that's coming back into you every day. And like, that's my thing. Like, I don't have a way for y'all to choose joy every day. I don't have this like well-written post for people every day. Like, some days I don't have it. Like, I don't have anything to release. I just need to have something to give. So like, the biggest thing, like, I feel like we kind of misconstrue like showing up every day as to be like we show up for other people every day. But showing up every day isn't necessarily for everybody else. It's like for myself. Because like, if I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, like I don't have anything for anybody else, but I sit down, like I read my Bible, or I like listen to one of my podcasts, or do whatever I need to do to take care of myself, that's the same amount of showing up as it is if I'm posting something on social media or recording a video or whatever like that. So like, I feel like the preparation on some days is just as much showing up as the release that you do, like for other people.
No, that's good. Because like, at the end of the day too, to even be able to pour into other people, you have to pour into yourself. You have to be showing up for yourself. Because like, it just doesn't make sense for you to be trying to pour into other people. First of all, if you haven't poured into yourself and you're trying to pour into other people, Lord knows what you're actually pouring into other people. Exactly.
It's gonna be a mess.
So that's real, like having to just show up for yourself every single day. And it's funny because as you're saying that, I'm thinking to myself, like the times where I felt just super overwhelmed, or just felt like I just didn't have it to give, those were the times where I really did have to plug into Kristen, or just even think about like, who have I been surrounding myself with? Like, how has the routine shifted in my life? Because something's off balance and we have to get back in alignment some way, somehow.
And part of that is also like realigning. And I used to get annoyed hearing people say this all the time, but like it makes sense. But like realigning yourself with your why makes a lot of sense, especially like when you're doing stuff and it involves like social media and stuff like that. Ooh. It can get to a point where it's just like you record something and it's like this is really good, like people should really enjoy this, and then like your numbers are just like
and you be like
whoa. So like the numbers don't look like it, and you just like maybe like that can throw you off balance a little bit. And so you have to realize that like, yeah, like what you're doing is for other people, but like it's also for you as well. Like I have stuff, like I post on social media all the time, but I have stuff on my social media right now that I posted, and right after I posted it I put on private, because I realized like, yeah, like this is good, but like this is for me. And I can't like get myself so caught up in the numbers that I like neglect the message or like what is the true purpose of like what it is that I have to do. Like literally, if you look on my Facebook, there's at least in the last 2 months there's at least 5 to 10 posts that I've like posted, and I was like, yeah, no, this is for me. Or I either that, or I've realized like, yeah, I'm not in a space where like I can release this, and if it does bad, then I won't be like hurt about it.
Exactly. So have you ever like posted something and then you realize, okay, this is for me, let me put this on private, and then ever like, because then like now it's in the drafts, so it's still there, and then have you ever gotten to the point where you're like, okay, I feel like now I can release this? Like how do you go from, okay, I'm scared, I don't want to post this, or I just realized this is just for me, to then being like, okay, now I'm at the point of accepting I can release this for other people?
I feel like most of my stuff is kind of just like, I feel like everything that I say to anybody else, it typically starts with being just for me.
Right.
So like I have a folder in my phone that's like literally just like a bunch of random stuff, like stuff that I'm learning for myself, that I'm realizing for myself, stuff that I need to implement on my own life. And so like once I feel like I've really grasped that concept for myself, or I feel like it's something that I'm like starting to master, then I can like take that, I can throw it together however I want to and post it on social media so somebody else can get from it. And then sometimes it just be like some random stuff that like I've never seen before that I'll post, and I'll be like, oh, like let me like throw this out there. And after I throw it out there, I might realize again, like, yeah, I haven't mastered this for myself, or this was really just supposed to be for me, and I like put it on private, and then like 2 months later I'll be like, well, got that down.
Yeah, no, that's real. To also even just like to understand, because there have been plenty of times where I have posted something and then it doesn't get the numbers that I want, and I'm just like, now I'm mad. Now I'm mad, now I'm frustrated, because of course anything that we make, like whether we're creating it, we're writing it, whatever the case may be, we put it out for the world. That's very vulnerable. Yeah. Like for you to just put that out there, and of course we make it so we know it's good. Right. So it's
I'm not
just
gonna put it out there if I don't know it's fire.
Exactly. So it's just like, now I don't understand why y'all not picking it up. I put it down to pick it up. But for you to realize, or even have like the maturity to be like, okay, I know that if this doesn't get the amount of numbers that I want, then I'm gonna be mad. I'm just gonna feel some type of way.
And I know when I'm having days that are like, yeah, if this post don't go viral, I'm gonna be pissed off. Like if Obama don't see this post after I'm done with it, I'm gonna be pissed off.
All right.
And so like some days I have to be like, yeah, let me get off social media, because they're gonna make me mad if I say what I gotta say.
That's real. That's real. No, I get it. So your calling, you preaching, let's bring it back, okay? Because I reeled it in, and then we start talking about other stuff. But let's talk about it. You've been preaching, like you've been out here, and I'm like, hold on. I've always known you've had it in you, but like to see you actually walking in that is a whole different thing. So how we get there? How we Come on, let the people know.
Oh,
I want to know.
It was kind of like, so growing up in church, you know,
Yeah.
like a lot of times, like people see stuff in you. Like you said, people will see stuff in you before you see it in yourself, and that's aggravating.
Oh
Because,
my
like,
God, yes.
when I'm 13, I don't want to think about preaching.
Okay, because actually,
Let me go to school and eat lunch with my friends in peace.
Exactly.
I don't want
I
that
want my
to be
chicken
something on my
nuggets
mind.
in peace.
So that was chicken.
Okay, I just want my chicken nuggets in peace. That's it.
So that was like always a thing for me. And like when I was growing up, like even my mom's side of the family, they would say like, we raised preachers, teachers, and soldiers. And I'm like, well,
Nope.
I guess I'm
One
gonna
of the
teach
three.
because can't go to the military, don't gotta work for the Lord. So I guess I'm gonna be teaching. Even so much like when I came to college, my major was middle level education. I was like,
yep, nobody
I'm
remember
gonna
that.
teach.
Okay.
But so like that was hard because it's like people seeing stuff on you that you don't necessarily see on yourself.
Or you don't even want to accept.
That's a big part too.
Okay, let's talk
is
about
a
that.
huge part. So I want to say when I was 18, I like finally came to the realization like, okay, like this is something that's like actually on me.
Yeah.
Like just not necessarily like being in the pulpit like preaching, but more so like, okay, like expounding on the word, like making sense of it all, more so teaching than actually like preaching. I realized like, okay, this is like something that's on me. So I realized that when I was 18, I had a conversation with like my home pastor about it, and he like gave me some stuff that I needed to like look into, work on, and so that was 2018 when I left for school. 2020 when the pandemic happened, something about the pandemic just made me like press into God at like a different level. And when I say that, I mean like press into God, like I'm laying on the floor like praying for an hour every night, like that type of press into God. And so it kind of like clarified some stuff for me, but I was still just like yeah, I know this, but still on the back burner.
Exactly.
Because I had told myself, I was like I'll get into it when I'm like 30.
Yep.
I straight up told myself that. I was like, give myself some time to like, live my life and stuff like
exactly.
that. So I just like, I got licensed as a minister in May of this year.
Yeah.
So February of this year, I was like, I don't remember what it was, but God told me something along the lines of like, basically something along the lines of like, it's your time, like it's time to go. So like I had a conversation with my current pastor about it, and my pastor was just like, like I actually, basically he had heard the same thing that I heard. Yeah. So it was like confirmation in a sense. So that happened, and we got the ball rolling on like my training or whatever you want to call it. But even still, like even after knowing that, I feel like I was still having moments where like my purpose was being like clarified. Like so for me, like I am a minister, I do preach, but I feel like my purpose is more so just like making sense out of like a gospel that's already complicated enough. Yeah. Like trying to make simple the like crazy things.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
That are like regarding Christ. And so
like
even,
help me understand the King James version, please,
literally,
because I'm confused.
Like 3 weeks before my initial sermon, I called my pastor, and I'm pretty sure he thought I was joking, but I told him, I was like, I don't think I need to have an initial sermon. Like I really don't even think I need to be a minister. Like I'm comfortable with being like a conversational minister. So like if I can have a conversation with people and like explain to them the gospel and like on a one-to-one level that they understand it, I feel like I would be perfectly walking in my purpose. My pastor was like, no.
You thought.
Yeah. So like because I feel like that's my thing. Like I really feel like my thing is like really being able to sit like on a one-on-one level and like help people to really understand like what it is that's going on with all this. Because like the Bible literally says that like he uses the foolish things. Yeah. So like this stuff don't make sense.
No, at all. All the parables, I'd be like, Lord, I need you to say it plainly because I'm confused.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
So like that was my biggest thing. Just like if I can literally like reach people one at a time, then I feel like that like I would be perfectly walking in my purpose.
Yeah, no, that's real. Oh, I love to see that. Like it's funny because we've said it all throughout this entire episode, but just how people see things on you. Because like, first of all, Calvin can sing, okay? If for the people that don't know, Mr. Dash can hold a tune, okay? I can't do that. I love that for you. I wish I could. But I've seen this on you, like, since we've met. Even just the conversations that we have, just like anybody that knows you just knows that you have something just brewing inside of you. So now seeing you do it, I'm like, okay, friend.
And I'd be like, oh, when is this gonna be over with? Like,
stop.
And I mean, like, that's part of it, because like really walking in your purpose and in your calling, I don't feel like anybody that truly walks in their purpose and their calling, if they're like really sincere about it, I don't feel like they should want it at all.
Yeah.
Because like that, it's a lot.
No,
like,
it
why
is
would
a
you
lot.
want that for yourself?
No, seriously, the accepting it is hard too, because just like, I mean, just to what you're saying, it's like, okay, I hear what y'all saying, but like, I don't know
Y'all
about
can have
that. Exactly, like, don't put that on me. All right, don't do that. But then it's like, you have these moments in life and it's like, okay, all right, okay, so even just like teaching, that was your major at first, that still completely aligns with what you're doing. Yeah. You're still teaching people. So like, that was just the foundation. So it's funny, so like even for myself, when I first went to Winthrop, my major was business. It did not make sense for me at all. Then I ended up I literally chose communications just because it sounded fun. Not gonna hold you. I was like, okay, this sounds fun.
Like that. Yeah.
Sure, I'll be a news anchor. But just like those little unknowing things that you're doing, but you're still getting closer and closer to your purpose. And then when you're actually walking in it, for myself, I feel like I know God has something really big for me, but I would be lying if I told you exactly what I knew that was. Like, I feel like walking in your purpose is also, you're walking by faith. Because it's just like, okay, I know I'm supposed to help people. I'm supposed to have these conversations on camera and just put it out there for other people to see. But I would be lying if I said in 5 years, this is what God's gonna have for me. Like, it's literally just trusting every single day.
Literally.
Like, and that's scary.
And every day it just takes like a different level of faith, because some days it's just like, okay, like, God, we cruising. Some days I'm like, we gotta go over that bridge right there. Like, yeah. It literally takes a different level of faith and trust every single day.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Jesus.
So for the people that feel like they are struggling to find their purpose, or even struggling to accept the things that people are saying, prophesying over you, like, how, I guess, what advice would you give to them?
I feel like my biggest thing would be, like, it's good that people will see some things or like say certain things over you, but don't put the voices of people over the voice of God. Like, and it doesn't even matter how many people are saying it. Yeah. Because like, one thing I've realized is like, people will, especially from a young age, people will like call you stuff and like say they see things on you based on what they need. Because like, so for me, like when I was younger and people would say like, oh, you gonna preach and you gonna do whatever you want to do, like, in some spaces like people really did see that, but in other spaces they were just like, I'm saying this is on you because like you're young, you're participating in church and you're actually enjoying it. And the young adults that we have right now that are like growing up, they're leaving the church.
We're gonna need a pastor.
So exactly. So people will like call you that because it's just like they're scared that without somebody like you, they won't really see the future.
No, that's
so like people will call you all types of stuff based on what they need. Like, I've had somebody basically tell me like, oh, you're gonna be what did he tell me? He was like, you're gonna be a great organist one day. And like, this was like in church, like he was prophesying to me. He was like, you're gonna be a great organist one day.
Oh, wow. No.
And I'm just like,
all right.
Do you know me? Like,
exactly.
Like, I could sing, but like I'm partially like tone deaf. Tone deaf.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
I'm partially tone deaf, and also like the hand-eye coordination is not there. That's not me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
If God want to give it to me overnight, cool.
Okay, exactly.
But no, you just saying that because you know this church need a new keyboard player. Like, let's be for real.
Be so serious. Come
so
on
like
now.
people literally call you stuff based on what they need, or just based on like what they want from you. Like when it comes to family will call you all types of stuff based on what they want you to be. There's plenty of people that's out here doing jobs and living their profession, and they miserable because of the simple fact that their family told them that that's what they was gonna be for their whole life, and you don't like it, but you was just following suit with what they said. So I mean, at the end of the day, like, God is the author and the finisher of our faith, so he's the one that ultimately has the understanding as to what we're gonna be and how we're gonna be it.
Yeah, no, that's real. I think the advice that I would give is honestly just the same. Like, I feel like, of course, listen to the people that are in your life, but ultimately they didn't make you. So it's just like, at the end of the day, you have to be in alignment with God and be talking to him, because I know for myself, when I started really being intentional about my self-love journey and just healing and going to therapy, and then I was like, okay, this is cool, but I also, born and raised in the church, but I've had seasons in my walk with God where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on fire, and then a distraction happens, something happens.
Like, I'm out.
I got to go. I'm tired. But I do know every time I'm in alignment with God, I feel like my purpose is just so clear. Like, there's no questioning. The further that I get to know who he is, the more I understand myself. And then the more that I understand myself, the more clear my purpose is overall. So I would just say, like, pressing into God. And like, for myself, I know one thing that helped, because it's one thing to say like press into God or really get close to God, but I know for a lot of people it's like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Because that looks different for everybody. So like, my tidbit, the thing that I would suggest, I started reading Matthew, and I was like, I just want to know who God is. Like, I want to know how he was on earth. I need to know all of that. And then knowing him, I was like, okay, now it's clearer for me to understand, and like, if I'm actually hearing him, because I know how he spoke to the disciples. So that would be my suggestion. How would you suggest, as we're saying, okay, listen to people in your life, but also listen to God, what would you suggest for people who are like, okay, I want to get closer to God, but I have no idea what to do?
I think what you said is probably like the biggest part, as far as like the more you press into God, the more you get to understand yourself, because that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Like, the Bible literally says, like, now are we the sons of God, and it does not yet appear what we shall be. So that literally means, like, now are we literally says, like, at this point you are walking into like your sonship with Christ, and it doesn't yet appear what you shall be, because you haven't fully gotten into him yet. Like, everything that we are as it pertains to who God is, what God wants for us, is all wrapped up into our knowledge and like revelation of really who God is in general, but also like who God is to us. And it's not all going to be figured out at one time. Like, the biggest thing that I've realized is, like, every season or every issue that you face, like, it literally gives you a different like revelation of who God is, and it gives you a different revelation of like who you are and what you can handle. Like, literally, like, when it came to like Gabby passing away was like my biggest thing that like I dealt with like, my dad passed away in 2018. Me and my dad, we had like a rocky relationship, so that was like kind of like, I felt cheated in a sense that like he passed away before I could deal with some of the issues that we had. But when it came to like Gabby passing away, it was like, okay, this is someone that I chose for myself, that I created this bond with someone, and now like she's gone, like out of nowhere. And so from that, I really realized, like, okay, like, I can't tell people to choose joy when I haven't been in a space where I haven't, like, where I've had to choose it for myself. Or I can't tell people like, oh, like God is a comforter, God can do this for you, when God has never like really had to comfort me through a low point. So it's just like every season, every like issue that you face, you get a different revelation of who God is for that season, and you get to carry it on throughout like the rest of your purpose.
Okay, come through, advice, come through. Come through. I mean, after that, how do I don't even know what else to say at this point. That was so good. Ooh, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. See, this one right here, literally day one, okay? I remember I had posted, at this point I didn't care, I air people out. At this point, I had posted this video about an ex who was not ish. And I remember he had actually commented on the video, right? This one right here, I remember you had responded to the comment, because he had responded to the comment and he basically said something along the lines of like, you didn't deserve that, but not saying that it was him, right? I remember you responded, you said, yeah, she did it. I said, that's my friend, okay? Literally. So from day one, thank you so much for this friendship, your time. You have been a supporter through and through. You know, the love is reciprocated. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh,
so great. Can't wait to see you on TV.
Thank you. You already know, you know. Well, thank you guys so much for coming, watching today. If you've made it to the end, I know you've got some good knowledge because it was dropped today. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.